Well, if you're hearing that song, it's time. You remember that, Greggo, back in the Ron Washington era where they had that year where it says, it's time.
It's time. I did. I had a T-shirt that said that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you should wear it
It's
sometime
time.
on the show.
Time.
It's time right here for the SPAMM Saloon on the Bo and Greggo show. And we're back. Sorry about missing Friday, but sometimes things happen. But we're back live and in color on this Monday night at 7 p.m. And we're here on Mondays and Fridays at 7 p.m. And you can catch us live on couple different places. First of all, you can catch us on Facebook.com/Bo and Greggo. And you can also catch us live on Twitter at Twitter.com/Bo and Greggo. And I'm your host, one of your hosts, Big Wheels Bo Carver, and running the production tonight solo, doing everything, and got the sniffles.
Oh, do I get a pity party afterwards?
Yeah, give it up for Barbary Ann Purple Haze.
I just want a brownie.
And tell everybody on Facebook to give us some likes and loves for you.
And they're all popping up.
And share this on your page and let everybody know what's cooking on these shows. SPAMM Saloon is sports, politics,
adventure,
attitude, ask clown. Just pick an A. It's fine with us. Music and media. And we're here to have a good time and just bring stuff to you of all sorts. It's basically everything from A to Z. And we're just excited to be here during this show. And Greggo, before we get into the new segment that we're going to be getting into, which is called Lightning Strikes 5 Times. Now, what that is that I will be reading some news stories that are usually like back in the day, if you got a newspaper delivered, it'd probably be on like page 28B or something. It's not going to be in your headlines typically. And Greggo gets 1 minute to respond to that news story.
1 minute-ish.
It could be less.
Ish.
Yeah, you know.
I'm not real good with clocks. I'm usually a content over clock guy.
Is that it? So you wouldn't do good at a 2 minute warning?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, my 2 minute warning can go anywhere from 13 seconds
to 5 minutes
to 30 minutes. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not very good on clocks.
And
clocks are for suckers.
And to the show as well. My dear friend and partner in this show, here's Greggo. And before we get started with that, Greggo, would you like to pour your heart out in about Saturday evening before we get started? Or do you want to just move on?
He wouldn't even let me put the hats up today.
No, I didn't say that.
No, and I never will because I try not to get as emotionally involved in my beloved TCU, especially my beloved TCU football, after that morning in 2014 when the selection committee totally screwed us out of a chance to go to the playoffs, because that is the biggest disappointment of my entire life. I've never been more disappointed than that Sunday morning when they had that. And, we'd beat the crap out of Iowa State, but they decided that they were going to drop us from 3rd to 6th and put
overnight
and put Ohio State in there. And I knew right then that the fix was in.
Yes.
And the fix is in because the NCAA, they hate small private church schools.
Yes.
If you're not Notre Dame,
they
Notre Dame, that's the exception. But Notre Dame goes back to the turn of the century and Newt Rockne. But I knew then that the fix was in and that I never wanted that disappointment again. And so ever since then, I try not to live and die with every
little
single play
or whatever.
And
so do you think that SMU was that good or TCU was not that good?
Well, if you remember, I sound the warning. I was sounding the warning that they're going to have to play better than they did at Purdue, and they didn't. And they never recovered from the first play when they ran that trick play and the guy went for 60 yards. They never really recovered from that. They made it a game in the fourth quarter. They had a chance. It was 4th down and 3, and they ran a brain-dead play.
I saw that. That was so crazy.
Brain-dead play.
What was that all about?
And it's like this right here. I don't mind saying they deserve to get beat. They were not the best team on the field that day. Are they better than SMU? No, because they didn't win.
Right. Well, and that's
You know,
that's how
SMU
that's how the committee looks at
I
it.
mean,
too.
was SMU better than us all the times that we beat them? No, we won the
Right,
game. So
exactly.
I'm not going to say that. And was I disappointed? Yes, I'm always disappointed when TCU loses, always, because I basically pick them to win every game. I don't care who they play.
Alabama every
But
week. You're picking them, right?
But after that morning in
That was
2014,
suck. I know.
then
I know.
I can't get I
That was
can't
a royal
experience
ripoff.
that disappointment again. And
Well,
so,
in sports in general, a disappointment.
well, sports is designed to break your heart.
Well, it always does because there's only
that's
one.
all.
No matter what it is, NFL, college, basketball, there's only one real winner at the end of those seasons, and you can go
Unless you play high school football in Texas and there's like 19 state champions.
Well, it wasn't back in my day, so that's another story. But you can follow your favorite baseball team or NFL team, and they can go all the way to the finals. But if they get beat, you're as heartbroken as if they had a 0-16 season.
Exactly, and sports it's designed to break your heart.
Yes,
it really
does,
is.
too.
And the way I look at it, living in this area, I've seen 5 Super Bowl championships. I mean, wouldn't they like to see that in Cleveland after last night? I mean, wouldn't they like to say that in some of the other towns?
Yes.
You know, the
Dolphins may never see nothing again.
Yeah, I mean they won
may not
2
even
there.
have a team in Miami for too long if they keep that shenanigans up.
So I've seen that. I've seen an NBA championship. I've seen a Stanley Cup championship, and I saw one strike from a World Series. But
don't even get me started about that. You mean a catch out in right field that should have been done and over with?
But next to TCU, my favorite team of all time is the Rangers.
Oh.
Out of all, I mean, next
I
to anything TCU, when you go to pro sports, it's the Rangers. It always has been. I've been a fan of theirs since they moved here.
Right.
And I've lived with them in some bad years and some good ones. And I never thought I would live long enough to see them get to the World Series.
Yeah, twice.
And then, well, the first one, they got there, but they got beat by a superior.
Of course.
The next one, they should have won. If they hadn't had a gutless receiver, closer, and a brain-dead right fielder. But then again, they wouldn't have got to the World Series if it wouldn't have been for that brain-dead right fielder, Nelson Cruz, because he hit in the playoffs that year, I think he hit like 38 home runs.
But the one thing you needed, he just
couldn't make that catch. So okay. I'm pretty satisfied, and I now know.
Well, maybe that'll wake their ass up.
The selection committee has shown me that TCU's never going to get a fair shot. And you know what? Neither's Baylor. They're never going to get one either. And you know what? When SMU gets good, they've already screwed SMU once when they had that one tie and they gave the national championship to BYU and Robbie Bosco.
Yes.
So they hate small private church schools.
Yes.
They hate them. And so we're never going to get a fair shot. So we're never going to win a title. And I've accepted that, and now I can go about my business.
Wear your purple and pride.
I hate losing to SMU, but it happened. And
who they play next?
A college team.
Just whatever. It's going to be somebody. Well, best of luck, and I'm a big TCU fan. I really actually, one of the main reason I am is because I graduated from high school that was purple and white. We would call the Royal Purples, but also Gary Patterson has always impressed me. And coming out of that Mountain West and taking that team.
And before that, they were in the WAC.
I know, but what I hated, when they were kind of canned from the Southwest Conference and all that started happening, I felt bad for TCU.
Well, that was because the governor of Texas insisted that Baylor be taken to the Big 12 because she was happened to be a Baylor grad, Ann Richards. I mean, the fix was in on that too.
I know.
The fix was totally in on that.
But keeping your blood pressure down, they made it back.
Yes,
and they
earned their way back, brother.
They worked hard to get there, and that's why I'm a big TCU fan.
And they're still a young team. They're gonna okay. I'm not making an excuse at all, but they've lost to a team they should have beat. They should have beat SMU.
They should have.
But I guarantee you they will beat a team this year they're not supposed to.
Well, that's good. They'll make up for that.
Yeah. Man, not really.
And I'll be looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
So now that Greggo's got that off his chest and he feels a lot better now. And
I don't feel any better. But,
well, this was we were on I thought this was one
but
of those
I'm not suicidal like I was in 2014.
Yeah, there you go. So now we're going to do this new segment. And if I can read it and read these headlines and these news spots, then Greggo gets 1 minute or less ish. And
I do not know what these are.
He does not have any idea.
Do not know what these are.
This is what the great thing about this is, and this is something we hope you will like because we plan on doing it every show at the beginning of every show. And Barbara Ann will be keeping track of the time, and she will let us know with a special little doodle. That right there.
That's annoying.
That'll let you know.
That's annoying.
So let's start with number one. You ready?
I am ready. And once again, I've got an opinion on just about everything. So I'm pretty sure that you pulled these from the news headlines of the day or week. I'm pretty sure. But if I don't, I'm just going to have to take a pass.
Well, if he may know about the story, but he doesn't know what I'm going to be bringing up.
Right.
And we're going to do about 10 minutes or less. Just
You're going to reply?
I don't know. We haven't talked about me replying. I might throw a jab in there too, but you can keep kind of track of how we do this on time. So
all right, I've been looking forward to
all right, here we go. First one. A 16-year-old climate activist slams world leaders at United Nations panel. Swedish teen Greta Thunberg claims that science has been crystal clear for more than 30 years, yet leaders have done nothing. People are suffering. People are dying.
Well, first of all, she's 16 years old. She doesn't have a clue on any of that. She may have studied what the propaganda that they put in front of her, but she knows nothing about nuclear energy. She knows nothing about economies and how economies work and how our economy is based on oil-based products. And if you get rid of all fossil fuels, we're not going to have iPhones because everything is oil-based, everything. So everything's going to go away and we're going to be back to the Stone Ages, okay? But at age 16 and propped up, I want to know where her parents are, and I want to know where all these liberals are that are pushing a 16-year-old to stand up in front of the UN. Because I know that age 16, I wasn't qualified to speak in front of the Boyd PTA, much less the UN. And you know what? Neither is this little girl.
No.
She's not. And what we saw today was, that's the 1 minute, but I'm not finished yet.
Okay.
What we saw today was child abuse in real time. And I think that's a shame, but the liberal left and the media
stops at nothing.
They know that they're not getting their message on this climate. Is it climate change? Yeah, it has been for 5 billion years.
I'll bring that up
Is man in the industrial revolution, is that adding to it? Yeah, it probably is. But is it worth bankrupting the world economy to do that? Because we can go in and we can have zero pollution. We can have zero fossil fuel. You think they're going to do it in China? No, they're going to still be dumping their sewage in the.
Well, that's the whole point. She said the world leaders, and boy, you're pissing in the wind trying to get all the world leaders.
Is it a problem? Yeah, it's been a problem for a long time. Do we need better water purification? Yeah, but this little girl doesn't need to be worried about that. She needs to be doing other things, and shame on the media because they know a cute little girl in pigtails is going to look good visually
and get a lot of
attention.
Right.
And plus, the girgirl's smart. She's very well read and smart.
Anna Mayer let all those kids out of school and signed the permission slip.
That was Friday. Let 1.8 million kids
when
out.
I was in school, if they'd have said, hey, you know what?
Yes.
We're going to have a protest, but we're going to protest air. We're going to protest
I'm
oxygen.
going.
I would have said, hey, oxygen's bad. Oxygen's bad. We should
Just to
all
get out of
suffocate.
school, yeah.
I'd have done anything to get out of school.
Well, my son's 15 years old and he's pretty smart too, but I don't think he'd get up and do that because he's smarter than that. Okay, how are we doing so far, Greggo? Did I start off
3
with a good
minutes.
Barbara Ann, I'm doing pretty good.
3 minutes
on
on
it.
that
So
one.
now he gets 15 seconds on this.
It all comes out in the wash.
Here we go.
Once this month, it'll all even out. I promise you.
Here we go. Oh, so we have to even it out over the month?
Maybe so. Maybe a year.
There we go. Okay, number 2. The All Lives Matter stickers are being removed from the police vehicles in Indiana. A petition to remove these decals from the rear quarter panel in Frankton, Indiana, has resulted in the department agreeing to take them off. Complaints that the decals demean the Black Lives Matter movement.
Okay, you know, I don't want to get myself in trouble here.
Wow.
But what's wrong with saying that all lives matter? Because they do.
We all do matter.
It's not diminishing anything.
No, it's helping.
And what does all black matter? What does that mean? They've never really explained that. Does it mean that just black lives matter and nobody else does? Does it mean that cops that protect black communities, that doesn't matter? Does it mean that border agents, their life doesn't matter? Does it mean that school teachers, their life doesn't matter? I don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
Never been explained.
But what my question's always been is where the color breakdown is. What if you're not really totally black? Maybe you're kind of olive or dark olive or, you know, medium brown. I mean, are you left out because you don't fall in that total category of all black matters?
You know what? I'm gonna go by the mantra that everybody's life matters. I don't care how poor you are, how rich you are. I don't care what part of the world you're from. If you're a human, living, breathing person, then your life matters.
So,
do
you agree with them taking that off, or do you feel like that was just catering to something that was ridiculous?
My gosh, we have so many more problems than worry about some kind of
Sensitive.
stickers on there. I mean, I don't. It's not a fight.
Would you like to dance?
But
No,
wasn't the Black Lives Matter movement branded as a terrorist group?
Well, I don't know.
I think
about
you might be conflating that with
Yeah.
the Antifa.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
that's
okay.
what
Those
they do.
knuckleheads
Yeah.
Okay.
that should be disbanded. And
Yes.
one of these days they're going to attack the wrong person, and they're going to get really hurt.
Yeah.
Really hurt.
Yeah, and that's going to be rough.
Do I need to
So-
blow the horn, or are we good?
Well, I guess.
So I don't. I mean, no, I don't like that they can't do those stickers. But my gosh, I mean, there
catering
are
to that
so
though
many
kind of
other
sucks,
things
isn't it?
to worry about in this world than worry about, you know, is my organization better than your organization?
Yeah,
you know?
well, I think it's ridiculous to make them take that off of the cars, but they did. So we got, I guess, kind of a political correct statement from Greggo on that one.
Mark that tag.
Mark that. Okay, number 3. A Florida 6-year-old girl arrested by police by throwing a tantrum. This is in Orlando. Kaya, I'm not good at names, so bear with me. Kaia Roll was acting out while attending school. At one point, Kaya was taken to the principal's office where a school staff member grabbed the little girl's wrist, prompting the 6-year-old to thrash around and then kick the staff member's legs, start kicking the staff member's legs viciously. The school's resource office placed this young girl in handcuffs and transported her to juvenile center and basically arrested her on a battery charge.
Whoever put handcuffs on that 6-year-old should be fired immediately.
You think?
Immediately.
Even though they're out of control?
There's if you're an adult, and I don't care how out of control a 6-year-old get, you can control it.
Well, you
do not have to put handcuffs on a 6-year-old.
There was an 8-year-old involved too.
I'm going to. Well, I don't know about that, but I'm calling time out in a minute. But for Greggo, but I know a friend of mine that teaches in elementary schools, and he just right now has fed up and walked away from it for a while and may never.
But
go
you
back.
said arrested.
Yeah,
I know,
put her in
but
detention.
I mean, so she was arrested
Put in the
and
back of a police
fingerprinted
car.
and
Exactly, and
Yes.
mugshot and
then,
everything.
then whoever did that, whoever made that call should be fired immediately.
you don't think they're trying to do scared straight?
But here's what I'm trying to say: is that the schools?
But is she going to have a record? Is that going to go?
Well,
on
you're not in
record?
juvenile.
I don't think so. Not in juvenile. It drops when you're 18 anyway.
But here's the thing. I want to tell you about this teacher because these schools are saying that you can't do anything to these kids. You really can't say no. And he's had a class where a young boy about this age smacked one of the teachers and broke her nose, and kicks kids and throws kids around and is violent.
But a 6-year-old?
That's how old this kid is.
That's a first grader. I mean, I promise you,
but the problem is that when you start grabbing them and you start trying to detain them, then you get sued because they are not supposed to do that. So what is there? It's worse than what you think, Greggo. I know that sounds crazy.
The optics are so horrible. I mean, putting handcuffs on a 6-year-old girl.
Would you rather put them in a papoose board?
Maybe a straitjacket.
That's what a papoose board is for kids.
Is it?
Yeah, I would rather that.
You don't think the grandma would have griped about that and said that was
probably
inhumane?
so.
Anything they did, she was going to gripe about.
Probably so, but I just have.
How would you have controlled the child and got her to quit kicking and hitting everybody?
I would have grabbed her by the wrist and I would have held her until she tired herself out.
But see, you can't do that. These schools are not letting you.
Well,
do
I would
that.
have. I would have done that, and if I'd have got fired for doing that, then I go to court. But I would not have put handcuffs on a 6-year-old.
I'm thinking
girl.
he was
Just
thinking
wouldn't have
scared
done it.
straight, because my parents always would say, "You get in trouble, you go to juvie. I'm not getting you
Well,
out."
there's no discipline in schools anymore, and that's why we're at this
And
place
her
to where
grandmother didn't
it's
discipline
going
her.
over the board.
I know one
over the
thing.
board.
If when I was 6 years old, if I did that
You would
and
have
kicked somebody, I would have wished upon hell
they'd put you
that
in
they would
jail.
have put me in jail, because that would have been a lot better than going home to my
But
mother.
the home, they're not doing that anymore. The home life isn't like that anymore.
My mother would have beat me up one side
Mine
and
would
down
have
the other
too.
if I'd
And then
oh
my
my.
dad would have when he got home, and then I would have been grounded and
But
watched
no,
every
I
dish
mean,
in the house.
just not in the climate we live in today. And you know, I understand all that, and I understand that you got to get unruly people under control, and sometimes that may be the only restraint they have.
If it was an
I just
adult,
wouldn't
they
have
would have
done
been
it.
maced. So I mean, he didn't mace her. He didn't tase
He'd
her.
have had a problem with that too. You know what? Here's my answer. I don't have an answer. I don't know. I just wouldn't have put handcuffs.
But I
on
know
a
there's
6-year-old.
another kid involved too.
Especially when you said
about that.
An
arrest.
8-year-old cousin was involved as well, and he got arrested as well. And
Maybe Greggo could have pulled out some of
Arrest?
his black belt karate on him.
I do that.
I think
All
right.
I would have panda hugged him like the panda bear, and everybody moved until she
Yeah.
wore herself out.
I mean, you would think that there would be some adult there, some coach
They were in
or
the principal's
something
office, yeah.
that they could grab this girl and
And
say,
hold
okay,
her.
now I'm going to
Hey,
hold you by the wrist.
But
I'm
we
gonna
don't
hold
even
you.
know if this is the first event. This could have been,
We don't know,
You know,
yeah.
I know how things go, and this could have been a bunch of issues.
I just know that the
beforehand.
look of it, of arresting
Yeah.
and placing a 6-year-old under arrest and
See, I
putting
would-
handcuffs on her, you're not gonna win public sentiment.
I would have been okay with it because I'm thinking scared straight. Now she's been to jail. Now she knows what's going to happen next time. Maybe she'll shape up.
No, what's going to happen is they're going to sue the school, and
I
she'll
know,
be,
but I
she'll
mean,
be
as the
bonusing,
parent,
and they'll win. So,
me as the parent, even
I
today,
know.
I would have been okay with
well,
that.
it's just
That
one of
little
those
6-year-old
things.
girl in 10 years, she's going to be driving a brand new BMW.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
exactly.
Because
pretty
she's about to win
sad.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
And how spoiled she's going to be in the future. Yeah.
All right, here we go. FBI has arrested a soldier who allegedly discussed plan to bomb a major news network. Jarrett William Smith, he was going to had a design to get a large vehicle bomb. It was to be filled. The vehicle was to be filled full of explosives, then fill a ping pong ball with a commonly available chemical via drilling the injection. Put the ball in the tank of the vehicle and leave. 30 minutes later, boom. That's what the plan.
Well, this guy needs to spend the rest of his life in jail if they have proof that he did that and he had, plans to do it. I mean, wouldn't we have liked to got a hold of the plans that Timothy McVeigh had
Well, of
and
course.
saved 160 lives? But we live in such a crazy world that there are so many crazy ways of mass destruction and mass murders that you have to take all of this seriously. And if they have credible evidence that this guy was planning that, and they have any kind of, evidence that they can point to and positively prove that he bought some stuff or he had drawings or
Any kind
he
of
had-
stuff, right?
then, I mean, this guy needs to go away for a long time and think about what he did.
But for me, it also says that you can accomplish these things without an AR-15.
Yeah.
Well, there's a stabbing today. A guy stabbed somebody in a parking lot. He didn't have an AR-15.
I know, but we're talking about mass killings. That was just a one, wasn't it?
I think you got
Yeah.
two people.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Multiple.
so that was what happened there. We'll see what happens on that. I'll keep track of that.
And
Okay.
he was an army private, right?
He was in the U.S. Army. I'm not sure if he was a private.
He's got problems.
Just been in the Army period.
Because the regular due process in our regular courts for civilians is a lot different than the court martial.
Oh, that's true.
And when you go to the brig, man, you will bust rock for Uncle Sam for a long time.
So that's not getting behind and doing computer work and studying to be an attorney, right?
And plus, it sounds like he's an asshat to me.
Yeah.
I mean, why are you going to kill a bunch of people? You don't need to do that. You don't need to be killing people.
Well,
nobody needs to die.
We've got societal problems is the reason we have some of these things, and that's
especially that he had it all the way down to a ping pong ball and you
injecting
put it in
that.
Yeah, this guy knows a little too much about it, and that's the problem with some of the people in the military is that the military they'll take just about anybody now, and basically what we do is we take young, impressionable minds and we make killing machines out of them. Right. And some of them are okay that we go over there and we kill the bad people. But some of them, they take those ideas that we teach them and they kill people on these shores.
Yes, they do.
Timothy McVeigh.
Exactly.
So, sometimes that
well, it's a good thing that they're finding the guy like this before.
Here's what I say. Good for the FBI.
For that, right?
Good for the FBI. I mean, they need a little positive story.
They sure do. Okay. A new New York clothing company created a line of hoodies that have bullet holes in them and features the names of the 4 different schools that had shootings. In other words, you can get a hoodie of one of the 4 different schools. And do I need to say which ones those are? But they're
probably Columbine.
Yeah, Sandy Hook and the Virginia Tech. And then
let me answer that with a question, Bo. Who in the hell would buy that?
I think the whole point was to try to bring awareness to these school
part
shootings,
one of the question.
Right?
Number 2, who in the hell would wear that?
Probably Antonio Brown.
I don't even know if he's that dumb. That's that's
disturbing.
That's a bad idea, and. No, I mean there's nothing good about it, and I'm sure they're gonna couch this by saying, well, we're gonna take all proceeds and donate it to who? To who? To the school?
The families that died, maybe.
The family. Okay, how are they gonna do that? Just divvy it up?
Yeah.
I mean, a hoodie costs $10. I mean, somebody's gonna get 10 cents,
$2 or a nickel or something.
And then somebody can go, wow, I got my check this week for my son's life. Got me a check for $500 this month.
Yeah,
it's just
I'm sure it's for a while. It's a bit. It's a wow factor.
I don't get it, but I bet they sell a lot. I mean, there's sickies out there.
Did they say how the sales were going, Dave?
Have we gone too far on our time? We need to stop.
No, you're halftime. It's 7:30.
Well, yeah, I know. I want to do about 10 minutes because he's got some more stuff to talk about. Or you want to continue with this?
Go ahead.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Here we go. Here's a couple of good ones.
I sort of stopped timing.
Harris County is looking for a 51-year-old, which Harris County is in Texas, around Houston, Klein, Texas, where this guy's from. A 51-year-old guy named Paul Nixon. Nixon's wife advised authorities that her husband filed for divorce and completed the entire process and proceedings without her knowledge or consent, and that the court had already completed all hearings and filed for the final divorce decree. And she had no idea of that.
Well, he saved her a lot of time. Saved her a lot of pain,
A lot of money.
Saved her a lot of...
How could they do that without her knowing it?
Because he forged the signatures. And then, you don't have to both show up when you have a divorce. Only one has to show up.
You know why divorces are so expensive, don't you? Because they're worth it.
OMG. OMG.
That's a good one. I love that.
Well, life insurance is worth it too, Greggo.
That's a good one right there. Oh boy, I hate to even read this one
because you know what? I got to hand it to that guy. I mean, he probably just said, "Well, I knew you'd put it off."
Yeah, and I'm just going to take care of business.
I knew that no matter what I did, it was going to be wrong. So I'll just go ahead and do it without you. That's funny. But that's going to be promptly voided.
Yeah.
And whatever he thought he was going to get, he's going to lose a lot of it.
Yeah,
it probably wasn't very smart.
So this guy named...
I want to know where his attorney is going to do. Because an attorney
may not even had an attorney. Because you can do that. without.
Yeah, I guess
you
you
can do
file
that.
paperwork
Oh,
at the
absolutely you
courthouse
can.
by yourself.
There's no doubt
I
about
just
it.
can't imagine an attorney going, "Yeah, that's a great idea,
What
dude.
state
Yeah, we'll
was
just
that
do it."
in?
It was in Harris County,
So here,
Texas, Houston,
Texas is a 50-50 state.
but he went around that. She
That's
didn't
what
have
I'm
any idea.
saying.
somewhere
He's trying to keep
forged
all
the
a
stuff
from
signature.
Yeah.
Somewhere there's
He
a
did.
forged document, and when
Bunch
you
of 'em.
do, that's a
He
major
didn't want to
crime.
lose it. Yep.
Put it this
Wow.
way: she's going to get custody of the cars.
The
Things
dog,
the house.
cat, his watch,
He-
anything.
he
Yeah,
ain't
he
gonna
lost
get
his
much.
50%.
Things are going to change for him here in the
Yeah.
next few days.
There goes his 50%.
You think he could get arrested for that?
Although he had, yes,
Have
like,
you-
yes, he
yeah.
can get arrested for
Forging
that.
court documents? Are you kidding me? I wish we had James here tonight.
Because
Oh,
I
sure.
promise
Judge
you, even
Greggo.
if you do it yourself, you have to get it notarized. So you have to swear in front of a notary that this is you.
And in
or-
front of the judge.
right. So yeah, this guy's in serious trouble.
What is that called when you lie in the judge? Lie to a judge.
Oh,
Let's-
it's called contempt of court.
Yeah.
That's what that's called.
So he's got more than just divorce on his hands.
Well, here's a good one for another smart guy. This guy name is
Well, let's get one. Open the door. Let's get smart guy in here.
We don't
Stephen
have one.
Stephen Weber or Weber or however you want to call
Guilty.
that. Drowned while he was asking Kenesha Anton to marry him while they were vacationing in Tanzania. He
Whoa.
was down underwater, and he wrote this note, and he was taking pictures of it on his phone to send to her because he thought this was real romantic. And the note said, "I can't hold my breath long enough to tell you everything I love about you, but everything I love about you, I love more every day." But he never returned from the bottom part of the water.
What was he just snorkeling, or did he have did he have a scuba
snorkeling.
tank on?
No, he was snorkeling, and he had the note in a bag and his phone in a bag, and went down and tried to take pictures of it. And I guess he couldn't stay down long enough.
Where was she?
I don't know where she was.
Well, how far does it say how deep it was? I mean, was it like
No,
the
they
deep end of the
didn't-
pool?
I
Was it
didn't
in
get
a?
No,
was it the
it was
ocean?
in the ocean, like where they were.
Well, who filmed it? I mean, it seemed like somebody would help him.
Well,
Was
they
doing a
got the
selfie?
picture of him doing.
So
it.
he was filming it himself.
Yes, he was taking the picture of his phone, and that's where it comes from.
So what happened after he took a picture of the note?
Well, he sent it, I guess, to her. I mean,
And
he
nothing
did it,
after that. The phone went dead.
and then he never made
He
it
got
back
ate by
up.
a shark.
What
or
happened to
is
the
that?
good old days when you just check in to the Motel 6?
Wow.
You'd bang
What
away.
about-
You'd get up off the vibrating bed and say, "Why don't we just get married? Why do you
Let's go to
gotta have?
Vegas.
Why do you have to have all these elaborate
I
things
know.
now?"
And balloons and hot air balloons.
So
Oh,
Is Bob in for
don't
that?
even get me started on those gender reveal parties.
Oh,
Those
I
are
know.
the
Those
dumbest
are
things ever.
ridiculous. Those are getting crazy.
Oh, those are the dumbest. Well, I saw one the other day where they had a hippopotamus. They are
The real one?
Yes, a
Alive.
real one. And they threw a big watermelon in its mouth and it bit down on it, and it was full of blue jello.
Oh, Jello.
Blue jello. And so that was the reveal. I mean, now the hippopotamus loved it.
I got you.
It's for the baby. But you see them all the time about, they'll throw a baseball, and they'll hit the baseball and it'll splatter pink and it's
Or
going
a
to be
pinata
a girl,
and all this
or
stuff.
something like that. I think that's the dumbest thing in the world. I just think
They
it's
just
it's
do
just
go crazy. With
it's
all
just
that stuff.
and it takes one person to do it and post it on
Social media.
online,
Everybody else
and then
has to do it.
everybody's got to top it, just like this guy. I mean, this guy right here, he said, "Okay, now a buddy of mine did it on horseback. He
Yes.
proposed to it,
Mhm.
and another one did it over at Flagpole Hill, and another guy did it jumping out of an airplane. What can I do? I'm going to go ahead and
Go
hold my
under-
breath and go underwater in the ocean and do it." And he got himself drowned.
He's gone.
They never found his body?
Yeah, they found
I hate that he's dead.
Oh.
I don't want anybody dying on some
Right.
kind of little bit. But good gosh, just
Be smart. And
just
that's the
take a
problem.
knee
We
like
just-
Kaepernick and propose, and there you go.
That's the one time we feel okay you taking a knee.
Oh, why are people so stupid?
All right, I got
And
one.
you know what? It's social media.
Oh, yes.
It's making all of us insane.
It's true.
It's making all of us absolutely, totally bonkers.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's all about trying to one up, and you get a lot of attention for
Keeping
it.
up with the
And you're
Smiths
hoping for
Jones.
that
Keeping
we're-
up with the Kardashians.
where it
They
goes-
started it all.
OMG.
I blame all them.
and it's
They're hot.
It's
They
about
are hot.
We're gonna
always
get struck by lightning because you said that name in
trying
here.
to go,
They are hot.
trying to
but,
get
you know,
something to go viral. That's all they do is try to do something to one up.
But look what they did to Bruce Jenner. They made him turn into a woman.
I know that
All
works.
that
I mean,
estrogen.
that clan drove him so nuts. He just said, you know what? I'm just going to turn into a woman.
I'm gonna
When
join them.
Win an Olympic decathlon gold medal, greatest athlete in the world, and now I'm going to be a woman because of all these crazy women I've been living around.
Well, I know one thing. This event, this little thing, the bit this guy did, his deal did go viral.
Yeah.
He's just not going to
Yeah,
let
he
you see
didn't
it. All right, I got one more.
Did
Kyle,
she say yes?
yes, she did say yes.
She said yes?
"Oh, I love you forever and ever and ever."
Could have a
and
weekend
ever.
at Bernie's. You know, they can
Yeah.
prop this guy up, this old drowned guy. They can
As
prop
long
him
as there's
up.
life
yeah.
insurance policy, why not?
Stuff him and you put him in the couch.
That was her first question. Now, did you have any insurance?
Yeah, you got that a bit of
Can I
first.
have the car?
Exactly. Okay, Kyle Cannon.
Guilty.
Canning, 29, a municipal judge in New York, has been permanently barred from after he posted a meme on Facebook that included a noose with a mega caption. "If we want to make America great again, we will have to make evil people fear punishment again."
So what was wrong? Oh, they're
Okay, you can't go noose.
I've got a
there's certain
noose
things.
hanging in my shed. Anybody breaks into my house, that noose is for them.
There's certain things you can't go. You can't go Hitler, and you can't go noose. There are just certain things that are
It's
just
too touchy.
yes, and why people do it, I never know. I mean,
Well,
like,
because he's saying that we're
Corporal
out of control without any kind of punishment in this country anymore. And with what I see a lot on ID channels, he's right. But he's lost his job over it, but that sucks.
It's because somebody got offended. Like
yeah,
our statues are offending
yeah,
everybody.
you can't, but you just can't do that now. I really wonder about people like that, especially a guy like that that's in a position of authority of a judge.
And he's
that
29.
I'm worried about his judgment to be a judge. If I can, get the root
Say
word.
that pun.
Right.
You just can't do stuff like that.
That's
And
weird.
to do it like that, he deserves to be fired.
Yes, he does.
Because how can he stand a judgment of anybody else? I mean, you're always going to call that in question. You just are.
Well, he did it, and he's been suspended, or he's actually lost the job over it. So what did you think about this? We probably went too long because I had too many. But
I think it's good. I like it.
I think I'm on my personal page instead of our show page.
Is that why?
I think that's the problem. I'll feed it over
That's
there.
Bo
after the
Carver,
show.
and it's a picture of you in the microphone.
Yeah, but that's my personal page. It's not the Bo and Greggo
Oh, no wonder
show
I see all of our
page.
friends on here from Sundays.
Yeah,
That's why I can't. That's why I
well,
can't.
that was my bad, folk. And I'll get
And I
it over
thought I
there.
was the
They'll
one on
see it.
medications.
It'll change. That's just a profile of mine. I apologize. We're on the right page on Twitter, but I'm on the wrong page on the Bo and Greggo show. But I'll send it
stuff
over there,
happens.
and
Just
you'll
like
get to
Forrest
see
Gump
it.
said, stuff happens.
Yeah, and stupid is as stupid does. He also said.
Well, you're
too.
introducing the show to our other listeners from the other shows.
That's true,
because
but-
that's who's on
And
today.
I'll put it back over there, and they'll see it. I apologize that I made that mistake, but I'll try not to make it again. I got just too much going on in this studio. And thanks for joining us here. And we're normally supposed to be on the Bo and Greggo Facebook page, but we're on the Bo Carver Show page tonight. And I am Bo Carver along with
Hey,
Greggo.
never say we won't throw a curveball.
Boy, we are throwing it.
Bend that
Boy, I
baby
tell
right
you
across
what.
we
that
got
plate.
more monkey business in the studio than anybody's
Yeah.
ever thought about.
Bend that right across that plate, I'll tell you.
So we got some more minutes here. I want to bring up something to you. Now, what with all the injuries that's happened to the quarterbacks, who's gambling in this situation with the Cowboys? Is it Dak gambling more, or is it Jerry Jones?
They're both playing with fire. And as we talked last Monday,
Right.
that when you're talking about that type of financial commitment by one person giving it, another person getting it, there are so many things to consider, and it's so complicated, and there's so many layers of it that I can see where you could agree on 90 points, but 10 would be a sticking point.
Right.
And then when you agree with those 10, then 10 more pop up. But Dak's going to get his money. and
Yeah.
Jerry knows he's going to have to pay it. And I think, see, I hate to put so much stock into 3 games. I really do, because
Do you think that's the way Jerry's looking at that? Like, I don't want to put a lot of stack on these 3 games. Let's wait till we play. Like, we got New Orleans coming up this Sunday. That might be the biggest, the thing that I really take a look at to see what we've really got. Is that kind of what he's thinking, maybe?
I think that
Because that is going to be a big game.
I think that Jerry, when he took Dak Prescott in the 4th round, he didn't know what he was getting. I don't think anybody knew what they were getting.
Well,
just
when you
like
grab somebody 4th
just
round,
like New England, they
right.
didn't know what they were getting with Tom Brady.
Right.
Just like the Seahawks didn't know what they were getting with Russell Wilson.
Correct.
But I think with Dak Prescott, because you got to be a certain level to make it in the NFL, and everybody's at level. But it's the ones that get better and improve every single year. It's the ones that will take the coaching and do what they say. And Dak has cleared every hurdle.
Yeah,
and he is
he's
so
got
much
an
better.
attitude that's different
He
too.
is so much better than he was his rookie year on all phases of the game.
Correct.
All phases. And I think yesterday's game might have been his best win ever. Not in terms, because he's won bigger games, but the Cowboys weren't ready to play that game. I mean, they saw the Stinko Dolphins, and we're just going to show up and put these stars on our helmets.
Just go
and
out
we're
and
gonna
get
go
the
out there
day
and win.
done, right?
And they were going to and they were going to win that game no matter what.
With the 3rd string team, probably.
But after halftime, they came out, and it was Dak that made all the calls. It was Dak that the defense looked to make something happen. It was Dak that made the offense work. It was Dak that found those receivers that had a pipe pan
right
open. And I think he showed everybody he's gotten better every single week. I mean, he doesn't look like the same quarterback that he was last year.
I agree with that.
A lot of that has to do with a new energized offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore.
Who I
And
love, by the way.
and John Kitna, his quarterback coach,
Yes.
who has helped him immensely, because you can just tell on his release points, and the physical stuff is there. But I think the mental stuff is where that Dak, that's where Tom Brady's so good. Yeah, he can throw the pass. He can do all that. He's got the physical.
Well, he's
attributes,
really
but
becoming a real student of the game. That when he goes out there,
it's
got a
the
vision.
it's the mentally tough guys that they're never done. Joe Montana,
oh boy, yeah.
you know, that you're never out of a game with that guy. Just mentally tough. And I think Dak is that way. And it's
And relaxes the team with that.
yeah. And I think now, and I was kind of worried about Dak getting all that money, because he's about to hog up a bunch of money. He's about to hog up a lot of money. And I could see where a lot of people, and this was a month ago, 2 months ago, that they'd look at Dak and go, well, you know, you're a product of the system because you're a quarterback and you're not anywhere near a team leader. You're not anywhere near the best player on this team, but because you play a certain position that the NFL has deemed the most important, then you're going to make 3 times as much money as everybody else. I think I feared that. I don't fear that anymore. Because
I think Dak would be happy with a fair offer. Not, you know.
I don't. I think
he
he's going to. Now, is he going to go in there and demand?
Do you have any idea what the figures are that he's wanting, or is that just all under the table right now?
It's going to be north of $34 million a year. And as soon as he signs that, then Patrick Mahomes, as soon as he signs his deal, it's going to be north of whatever Dak has. So he's going to be the highest paid quarterback for about a year, and then Patrick Mahomes is going to obliterate that.
Yeah, he's very good.
But that's just the way the system is. Is it right? Is it right that a quarterback makes that much more money than a running back?
Well, see, I think that, you know, we have caps on the teams. I really think there should be caps on the players. And when you take and where you just, it's open game, open season for what you pay for these players, but then all of a sudden you're going to put a certain a dollar amount on the team, then that's where you get off balance. Okay, you got this one guy making a boatload of money, and then you to make that where you can make that payment and stay underneath the cap, then all these other guys have to take, okay, well, I'll take a break, or I'll give a little bit, or blah 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 blah.
Well, what they've done is they've eliminated the 5 to 8 to 10-year veteran, because those guys have a certain minimum they have to make. And the way the NFL structure works is you pay your superstars at every position, and then you have young guys on rookie contracts, and then everybody else in the middle, they don't get to play in the league anymore. And there's a big problem with that. There's no middle class in the NFL. And then it's been eliminated.
Yeah, it has. And then some of the latter guys end up playing pretty much on a lower scale just to try to keep playing a little bit. And they're still pretty talented.
There's a lot of players that are 6-7 year veterans that they would play for lesser money just to be in the league and just to make $3 or $4 million a year. But because of the players union, they're not allowed to. And so if you're a 7-year veteran, you have to make a certain minimum amount. And the owners are looking,
so if they have that, why can't they do it on the top end? I mean, why, if they say, okay, if you make, if you're a veteran,
because the players union wouldn't allow that.
Well,
there's
no way. Should.
Well,
the NFL should put it into play.
I don't think anybody fully understands that salary cap anyway, because you can go so over it.
I know, boy, it's so crazy.
And it's now because contracts aren't guaranteed. So, when you see Dak's deal, you're going to see this $120-something million, 5-year, 6-year deal.
And then it's all the stuff that's just broken down.
What you do
and how it's
is
broken down, and
you worried about
bonus
how
money
much
and
guaranteed. How much is he guaranteed?
Right.
He'll be guaranteed $100 million, but everything else it's not guaranteed. Like when Bryce Harper signed a $330 million deal with the Phillies, he's getting every dime of that.
That's crazy.
In the NBA, when you sign one of those $160 million deals, you collect every bit of it because they're all guaranteed. In the NFL, it's not. So just say a player X. I don't want to give any player. Say they sign a 5-year, $50 million deal, or 5-year, $100 million deal, where $50 million is guaranteed. So they get a check for $50 million. That's guaranteed. Then they're going to get minimum amounts of salary, because then you can put it on the salary cap and keep their average yearly salary, their base salary, at a small amount. They don't care because they've already got a check for $50 million. See what I mean?
Right.
Now in baseball, Bryce Harper, he makes $33 million a year. He makes 33 this year, 33 next year, and so on and so on. There's no signing bonuses in baseball because it's guaranteed. That's where it comes in football. Okay, say after 2 years that you've paid that guy $50 million, and then you've paid him $1 million each. So he's collected $52 million. He's owed 48. An NFL owner can go, you know what? We don't like him anymore. And then you just cut him, and you don't owe him anymore than 48.
Antonio Brown, and I had that on one of my news clips, that he of course is out in the NFL, and he says he will never play for the NFL again because the owners make all the decisions about who's going to play, who's not going to play. Yeah. And I guess he's right.
You know why? Because they got the gold. He who has the gold makes the rules.
But if he wasn't such a butthead, he might not. He could still be in the NFL.
I want to know what other industry that he's going to go and make that kind of money.
Well,
not a lot of industries pay guys of his expertise, which his expertise is playing football.
Yes.
He's not a lawyer. He's not a heart surgeon. He's not a CEO of a company. I don't know how smart he is. He's proven that he's not real smart.
He's proven
But I'm not going to say he's a dumb guy. I don't know. He may be a very smart guy. I don't know. But finding a job making $15 million a year, there's not a lot of them out there.
No.
There's not a lot. And so, good luck to him for finding that. He'll be playing with another team around Thanksgiving.
You think?
Yeah, sure he will.
We'll see. Well, we'll see how this goes out with him on these charges.
But I'll tell you a story about that.
How we doing on time?
There were a lot of Dak bashers.
You have about 10 minutes.
Okay.
There were a lot of Dak I never was one because there was always something about a guy, but something happened to him 2 years ago that made me take big notice. Had nothing to do with football, had nothing to do with playing, nothing to do. But there's something about character.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
And you either have it or you don't.
That's true.
Now, there have been a lot of high character guys that can't play in the NFL.
Correct.
And there have been a lot of low character guys that are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly.
But I saw this happen one time, and they had footage of it during a game. Dak was sitting by his bench. I don't know if you've ever been on an NFL sideline, but an NFL sideline and an NFL locker room looks like a bomb went off in there. I mean, there's tape, there's all kinds of cups, there's trash,
everything.
There's
clothes,
everything
towels,
everywhere. Now there's trash cans everywhere. Okay, but even that, I mean, it's a football game. Things are chaotic, and you throw something in the vicinity of the trash can.
Right.
You know, if you make it, great. If you don't, great.
You're not gonna go pick it up.
I saw him sitting on the bench by himself, had a drink of water. And he took the cup and he threw it to a trash can. And he missed. And he got up, went over there, and picked that cup up and put it in a trash can. And that right there, something that small, that minute, that told me, man, that kid has been raised right.
Yes, he has.
He knows right from wrong.
Yes, he does.
He's got character. And if he's as coachable and wants to improve as much as everybody tells
character.
Me, then he's going to be pretty good because he's got a good arm.
Yes, he does.
And he can run and he can evade and he's tough as nails.
Yes.
So if he can do that, if he went over there and he didn't know the camera was on him,
right?
You know, I mean, because a split second on either way and the camera wouldn't have been on him. They just happened to see him sitting over there, and I think it was after a fumble. And he was sitting by himself, had a drink of water, threw it over there, missed it, went over and picked it up. I've never seen a professional athlete do that, and I have been in many locker rooms and many sidelines, dugouts, and what have you.
Right.
I've never seen it. I've never seen a guy
take that much effort to get a cup in the trash can.
Now, if he knew that a national audience was watching him, that's
not what's
happening.
happening.
You have no idea because the camera that shot him was all the way across the field.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
He had no idea, but he missed that, and he went over there and he picked it up. And that was year before last when he struggled a little bit.
Well, I know when he gets his big money, he's not going to miss putting it in the bank. He's not going to miss that throw.
No. And so that pretty much told me that, my gosh, I mean, this guy, because not very many people, I've seen one person do it. In 30 years of roaming sidelines and locker rooms, I've seen one guy do it.
And that was him?
And that was him.
Yeah.
And so,
well, I hope they get it taken care of. You know, that it's always looming somewhere in back of everybody's mind. And they look good, but they got a real challenge coming up this Sunday. I know that.
They're going to get it done. Well, do they?
They got New Orleans Saints.
I know.
But they don't have Drew Brees.
They don't have Drew Brees, and they're a different team without.
But that defense really looked good against Seattle yesterday.
Oh, you still believe defense wins games?
Well, that team did yesterday. Well, and what's the backup guy? Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
Brees.
Well, no, he's not new, but he got the job done, and the defense was pretty impressive. So I think this is definitely going to be their first.
Cowboys, they
I'm not saying that they're going to lose.
They got Tank a little bit of help. They got that Robert Quinn over there on the other side. He got a first sack yesterday. I think they're going to rattle Teddy Bridgewater's
and all
head.
my Louisiana buddies and friends and followers don't hate me because I do love the Saints. It's just not in first place. and I usually root for.
Believe it's the Cowboys. If they play like they did yesterday, they'll get beat by the Saints.
Well, there you go. That's what happened to TCU.
But
anything can happen on any given day.
But they also they're going to be gearing up for the Saints.
Yes.
They're not going to be gearing up for the Dolphins. And I don't care what anybody
That
says.
happens.
The players, who you're playing.
Absolutely.
You see them on film, and I promise you, they sat there and they listened to the coaches go, hey, this is an NFL team. They can beat anybody on any given. They heard all that.
Rolling your eyes.
They rolled their eyes. They looked up their own film. They're like, man, these guys are.
It's like playing a junior high school team.
There's 5 of these players on the Dolphins that could make our team. My God, Taco Charlton starts for them, and we cut him. He couldn't even be active.
Exactly.
And so they hear that, and you get out there on the field, and next thing you know, you got a weird bounce here, you got a penalty here, and next thing you know, it's a 3-point game.
Well, just like what you said about TCU. You get in trouble, you get into a fight, and once you get into the fight, then it's dirty until the very buzzer, and you can't sometimes find your way out of it.
NFL games are about how many good plays you can string together in a row. It's a game of runs. And the Cowboys yesterday, when they scored those 3 touchdowns and put them together, that put the game out of reach. Because you look at a couple drop passes and then a couple brain-dead fumbles that the Dolphins had, and they'd have been leading at halftime.
Yes, that's true.
Now, they weren't going to win that game,
but
I don't think, but they were going to be in it. And once again, I hate this saying, but it's true. They pay their guys too, just like you do.
Yes.
And so,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Believe me, I've seen better teams than this current Cowboy team lose to worse teams than the Dolphins.
Absolutely.
I've seen that happen.
Yes,
before.
we all have.
I saw one of the best teams the Cowboys ever had get beat by the Bengals one Sunday.
Yeah, that's shocking.
But
it does happen.
Things can happen, but
it's why you have to play a 16-game season.
But when you got a Roger Staubach, telling you, hey, guys, we need to get it together. When you've got a Troy Aikman, and now when you got a Dak Prescott, because this team, they believe in this guy. And if your team, if you can get the other 52 people to believe in your quarterback, that's all they do in New England, because they're never out of it. I don't care who you are.
Correct.
They never think the 49ers with Joe Montana, they never thought they were out of a game.
They never were.
The biggest games that New England ever played when they were down 28-3 in the Super Bowl, they never thought that they were out of. Why?
Well, that's
because they all believed in Tom Brady, and he brought it back. And I think you're seeing the infancy, not there yet, but you're seeing that infancy of trust develop with Dak Prescott, and I think it's only going to get better. He ain't going anywhere.
No, that's for sure. Well, is there anything you want to discuss or hit before we go out?
No, I'm gonna go home and maybe watch a little Monday Night Football and
chill out.
Who's playing tonight?
2 teams.
2 teams of the NFL.
No, the Redskins and the Bears.
That's right.
Is that right? That ain't right.
Think so.
Yeah, that's right.
That's correct. And
I never get into schedules.
Well,
I try not to.
But
and except when I used to travel with the Cowboys, and I big time got into schedules because I would figure out what towns I was going to get to travel.
Well, that's
in,
a different story.
And what restaurants that I was going to put on the expense account.
There you go.
I did that.
Well, listen, I want to apologize to myself.
Never apologize.
To Greggo.
Never apologize. We don't apologize.
And to you.
You got new fans, new people listening.
Well, cool, but
we live in the age of Trump, Bo. No apologies. We don't apologize for nothing.
I'm going to comb my hair back and blonde it and get under the sun's tan.
Man, his hair is the 9th wonder of the world.
It's awesome, dude.
I would like to see all of the implements it takes to get that hair to do that. It defies the laws of physics.
Well,
have you ever seen it?
I know but it looks really good to me. But based on
I don't like the sweep over
with what he has to do.
Really?
But have you ever seen somebody posted something on social media that had him shaved with a beard? That's really scary. If the Democrats think that looks bad, wait till he comes out looking like that.
He'll let that hair go till he's got 2 hairs on his head, and he wraps it around 9 different times. He's never going to let that hair go.
I'm not bothered by that other guy, but let me ask you this question.
But everybody that says he's wearing a wig,
no.
Do you think he's not rich enough that if he was wearing a wig that he wouldn't get one that looks better than that?
Yeah, because you could certainly do that.
Or you think his wife would do something with it? It's gorgeous as she
maybe
is. I would want my hands on that hair.
That's what everybody wants to know. Who you'd want to interview. your special interview. You know who I'd want to interview? His butler. I want to know
Butler.
because they know all the. I'll bet it takes him an hour every day to get that hair to work.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I'll bet it does.
But I bet you he doesn't do it. He probably has.
No, of course he doesn't do it.
He's got to have someone do it.
I want to know. I mean, I'm telling you, it takes a comb, it takes a spatula, it takes crazy glue, it takes candle wax,
a hair straightener,
it takes
sure.
a pair of pliers,
welding torch.
it takes a welding torch. It takes all of that to get that hair to work. But
it works, and it stays in place.
He was doing a press conference the other day, and I couldn't tell you one thing he said because I was fixated on that hair. Because it defies all logic. It just doesn't. It's real hair, but I can't figure out if it comes from his butt or not.
It could be one of those. I'm not only the president, but I am a member or whatever.
No, the hair club for men.
Yeah.
No, because if it was a wig, he'd get one better than that.
Yeah.
He'd get one from what was it, Maury's from Goodfellas? The guy that had the guy that sold the wig shop guy.
Well, we're going to probably say adios for tonight. And we appreciate y'all tuning in.
It's cultural appropriation.
And
you're not allowed to say adios.
Okay.
You're stealing from the Hispanics when you say that.
Well,
don't say aloha. You're stealing from the Hawaiians.
I just stole from the Germans.
Can I just say bye-bye? Is that wrong too?
No, you're stealing from the hillbillies. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's do it in redneck.
So we're going to just say till next time, which is Friday at 7 p.m. And thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. What do you think about the lightning strikes 5 times?
I already told you liked it.
No, but I mean, is that something you want to do every week?
Yeah.
Do you want to shorten that a little bit, though? Yeah, and so we can do
nothing like producing on the air, Bo, letting everybody in on it.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
I like it. We covered a lot of ground with that.
Everything's a work in progress, and I'm sure that I'll get all my know-it-alls
to tell you
that they all do that. I mean, that they critique everything. I'm sure they'll. Most of them have never done a radio show in their life, but they think they can critique me.
Well, of course,
and
I get it all.
I'm sure when I get home that I'm sure that I'll have all kinds of emails and messages. Now, on that one thing, you said this, but you should have said that. I'm like, dude, you're a farmer. Dude, you're a farmer. You plant peanuts. And you're telling me how to do radio.
You ride a damn tractor, right?
Exactly. Dude, you're an accountant.
Well, it allows us to kind of spread it around a little bit, to kind of hit a lot of things. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. We didn't get the buzzer very much because we just went over too much. But I liked it.
Once again,
we got the entertainment of it from the beginning.
You will always catch me doing content over clock. Because clocks are for suckers.
Well, we got one, so we better get rid of that.
Well, I want to say right now, Facebook's saying it's a great show. They enjoy it.
Clocks are for suckers.
Well, thank you for that. We appreciate that. And tune in and share the word because we're here on Mondays and Fridays at 7 p.m. Normally on the Bo and Greggo show on Facebook.
I'm figure out what I'm going to eat on the way home.
And I'm going to tell you this someplace you need to go.
Tell them when we leave.
And well, I'm going to let them know. And Twitter,
I'm thinking about fast food Mexican food. I'm thinking about some burritos and tacos.
Twitter.com/Bo and Greggo. We're there live too, and those are archived.
Pizza's always a player for football games.
But they can follow you at TCU White Trash.
At TCU White Trash, yeah.
On Twitter.
That's on Twitter.
White Trash.
And these shows are archived, and they'll also be archived on YouTube. So you can go there. They'll be up in a couple of days.
There's a couple of Whataburgers on the way home.
I want chicken.
Church's
Chicken's across the street, and they're the best.
Well,
and I did see a Church's chicken over there.
Right across the street, and they're the best. They clean their fryers every day.
I got a place I'm going to tell you
I may have a little bit. I may get some Church's chicken, a couple tacos, a Whataburger, and order a small pan pizza.
And stop
they're
at the
all on
barbecue
the street.
place.
All you gotta do is go straight down this road, and you got every single one of them. You got Arby's and Wendy's and McDonald's in there too. So
yeah, grab one of those. Thank you so much.
And a Big Mac.
Well, I'm going to tell you. Do you like street tacos?
What's that?
OMG.
The street tacos.
Let's go so they can watch football. We'll talk about it.
What's street tacos?
They're special tacos.
Is that like a name of a place?
No, it's an actual food.
It's a type of tacos. I might have to turn you on to that because they're badass.
They're good.
And we appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you Friday at 7 p.m.
You bet your ass I'm going to eat something.
He's going to eat something because I am too. I'm starving. Love you.
That's what she said. Okay.
Make sure y'all hug him back to love y'all.
We're still in here, but we'll see you Friday at 7 p.m. And we love you. Thank you.
Right here.
Well, I need to do the deal. Did you turn off already?
No, I don't know. Did I?
You got to have that. You got gotta have the closing. We're still up. We gotta have that.
Right here, TCU rifle.
There it is right there. I like that.
Yeah, Wheels of Justice on, and you got the Texas Rangers.
Rangers. We love you. Let that play out.
Oh, Bo, please don't do that. They can't unsee it. I'm off air right now.
Oh. Oh my God, that was great. I love the show, man.